How do you teach a new salesperson any industry? Because this translates over to every industry. It's not just a car business. How do you teach them finding common ground, taking the barrier down between them?
What I do is, I'm, as a trainer, anytime I go into a room, I'm either talking to someone that's never sold cars, or I've talked to someone that's done 30 years plus, right? Mm-hmm. I would say this, what I'm preaching is I don't make it complicated for anybody, right? I think we live in a world that people do not like complicated process. I make it simple, right? But where I really benefit is I connect with people, right? That's I think anybody can get in front of a mic and speak about a process and this and that. But the true deal for me is I'm able to connect whether you're 21 years old or you're 45 or 50. And this generation is different. We lived in a time where sales was aggressive, right? If you didn't do your paperwork right, they would throw your paper in the showroom and you'd have to. In today's time, we have HR and you're not doing that anymore. And so it's a different type, right? You have a lot younger people coming in and they're different, right? You have to coach them differently, but the process never changes.
Yeah.
One thing I would tell you that changed, right, is when we were selling cars, we would say we control the customer. In today's time, we control the process. We're not trying to control a customer. And that is a different mentality that I have. And of course, it's years of doing this, and I'm trying to figure it out. You have to understand, I have traveled. Not only have I been a trainer all over the place, but I've lived in Brownsville, Texas, selling cars. I lived in Corpus Christi, Texas.
You lived in Brownswood?
Yeah, don't ever go there. But
I go through there on the way to Lubbock.
What's funny is that if you're not from Brownsville, and they knew I was from San Antonio, they reminded me very. Thank God I was tough enough to say, hey, it is what it is. But I lived it, in Corpus Christi. I lived in Laredo, Texas, right? So I've been able to see, and I will share this with you, and I don't mean to be long-winded, but
we got as long as we want.
I remember living in Brownsville, Texas, and there was a lot of times, and for those that don't know this, I am a religious person. I do believe in a man named Jesus. But I remember I was in Brownsville, Texas. I didn't know nobody, Tommy. And so it isn't like San Antonio, where I know everybody, right? I know this person, this man. It was more welcoming. But when I was in Brownsville, Texas, there were many times I was in my room thinking, God, why are you bringing me here? Why am I here? I don't even know anybody. People don't even like me. They know I'm from San Antonio. Now, they couldn't deny that I had some skills on selling cars. But and then I moved to Laredo and then to Corpus. I'm like, God, why are you bringing me here? I don't understand. No one even, I remember driving to work and said, I don't even know one person here. Man. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
And so guess what? Today, I'm in McAllen, Texas, training people. I'm in Laredo, Texas, which is my main stores. And guess what? I know that group of people. So what I mean by that, God took me a lot of places so that I could be ready to train people. Because I don't train the same way I do in Bastrop, Texas, that I do in Laredo, Texas.
Yeah.
But God took me places so that I would understand that customer. Anyway, I just would share that.
Well, knowing your customer is important. So in Bastrop, you put on your cowboy hat and boots. And then Brownsville, you put on your Hispanic accent.
No, what I mean by that is there's still a process.
Yeah.
But, I see so many, I won't say his name, but there's a trainer up north and he always very loud.
Is it our buddy Andy Elliott?
Yeah, I won't say no names out of respect, but so anyway.
Well, I want to get your opinion on it.
I'll tell you my opinion because I am a true trader. But what I'm saying is I was in Laredo, Texas.
Yeah.
And I remember a man that looked very similar to that man that had his name. And I remember he was training at Laredo, Texas. And he was very hyped up. And I'm not saying he's not a bad trainer. I'm not saying that. But he was talking down. He was talking down to salespeople. He didn't know who was in the room.
He's a lot, though.
I know, but you know what? You know what they told him when he got off the Zoom?
Probably don't come back.
You know what they said? No, they said, if you're so good, why don't you come to Laredo, Texas? And you know what he said? Oh, I'm not going to Laredo, Texas. And I'll tell you why. Because you wouldn't talk to people. The Hispanic race.
Yeah.
Can
you imagine an older Mexican lady?
They'll come back with a group of people to take care. You couldn't talk to people like that.
No.
People would just be like, I'll be back in 20 minutes.
Can you imagine an older Mexican family in Laredo going to buy a Honda Accord and Andy Elliott?
No.
Well, no name.
No, yeah.
Yelling at him.
Think about that. First of all,
Hey, do you have a six-pack?
the guy has, anyway, it is what it is. But you know what?
Mama.
Forget all that. You're talking about the cartel over there.
Yeah.
They're not taking it.
No.
I promise you. Those people would laugh at a guy
We
like
need to
Andy.
do a skit on it.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you imagine this old Mexican lady that just finished rolling tortillas for breakfast?
And you're going to be loud and proud and talking to them and how they need to do this.
And
He couldn't even, they wouldn't even understand him.
This-
First of all, in Laredo, 80% of people speak Spanish.
Yeah.
They would just be like, what's this guy with short shorts on talking to me for? I don't understand what's going on.
Mijo, you haven't had a good breakfast lately.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, I have nothing against Andy Elliott. I think he's got a lot going on. But
He does.
I just think that he capitalized up in New York or somewhere.
Yeah.
But in Texas, we're different.
Yeah.
We're different.
We do a lot of IVs. So we have a lot of cancer people in that area coming in. We have a lot of vets that are wounded coming in.
And what's it doing for the cancer folks?
So a lot of people come and get their vitamins through IV bag. So it's just getting them
Because
replenished.
the chemo's just knocking them on their ass.
It's terrible, dude.
I
felt terrible about.
Man, my buddy James, we've been friends since we were kids, and he's jacked like you. Just this dude's bulletproof. I mean, he is a fucking monster. And this chemo knocks him on his ass. And when it does that shit to a guy like James, I mean, fuck, it is bad. So the vitamins, what kind of results are y'all seeing?
So they're coming back every week. They do. Of course, we're giving them a huge discount. We give all of our wounded warriors, first responders a discount as well. Now we're getting a lot of student athletes come in, but it just, from the feedback we're getting back from them, we have a vitamin bag that has every vitamin, zinc, B12, all the B complexes in it. They're seeing that it's helping them get through chemo. They're a little bit more easier for them.
Good.
So they're coming back every week. And we're not in it for the money neither. For example, we had a guy, a wounded vet. I'm not going to say no names or nothing, but he was coming there when we first bought it. He couldn't afford the following month, so I noticed he was gone. He's a really cool man. You know what I mean? Did 20 some years plus in the service. He's pretty banged up. I asked my wife where he's been at. She's like, hey, you can't come in right now. So I called him on the phone and said, hey, what's going on? I almost said his name. But
We can edit it out, but don't say it.
yeah, no, he's like, hey, Sean, I just can't afford it. I was like, well, how do you feel? I was like, man, I'm hurting. He's like, come on in, on the house. He's like, for how long? For as long as you need to. No matter what, the cold plunge is on, the sauna's on, the red light machine is, it's all costing me money anyway, electricity being on. I was like, come in and use it. So he did like a month and a half on the house. He came on just a couple weeks or a couple of days ago. It's like, hey, man, I can pay this month. I was like, just 50%, man. So if you can change, it's all about helping people.
Yeah.
So it's not about money for us. If we can, now the hangover guys coming in, I'm going to take your money, man. That was self-inflicted. You know? Like, I'll hook you up to the $250 IV bag. Let's go, But when it's not your fault and you've done service for our country and get shit on when you come home.
Yeah.
Dude, our house is open to you.
Yeah. And I mean, you wouldn't have been able to do that if you hadn't have made these choices.
Exactly. Now, don't get me wrong. It is a moneymaker. It's the peptides and IVs are the future. Yeah. But we're not in it for that. We're actually in it to, like I said, be Christian based, help people out. And if you don't got the money, don't be afraid to stop by there. Like, if you're in need of an IV and in serious pain, stop by and talk to me and my wife, Ronnie.
Yeah.
And we will seriously hook you up. It's not going to make me or break my family to give out a couple IV bags to help people that are truly need it. You know what I mean?
And so that's where I say volume is the play in real estate. You have to sell a lot of real estate to be successful, which is why you see so many people get into the business. And I think it's less than 4% make it past the first 3 years or something.
I've seen that a ton with people that are, I'm going to, it's always a pretty face on a sign. I'm going into real estate, blah, blah, blah. And I would tell people, a pretty face isn't going to sell your real estate. When you need a real estate agent is when the negotiations are going on. And that's when you need a fucking pro, not just somebody to show you the house. That's part of it. But when a real estate agent can make their money is during the negotiations and get back and forth what, the customer is feeling to the seller and vice versa and make it impactful and stick, because if they're not good at negotiations, that fucking deal will be gone.
Well, the thing about it is it's not just negotiations. It's how do you get creative in a transaction? I'll give you a perfect example. I got a property under contract in Lavernia, and we went a little under list price, knowing it was going to appraise well over, but it was going to be an as-is deal. No question. So they came back, they did inspections. Hey, look, we found this, 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 and this. I said, look, I don't want to know about any of it. Let's find a number that we can reduce the price so we don't have to disclose anything. Because the minute you turn an inspection over to a seller, that now has to be disclosed to the next potential buyer.
Oh.
So we took some money off. The appraiser came in there and said, hey, foundation, man, this is going to be a condition to close. So my seller was freaking out because the foundation was going to cost $11,000. And it was just 16 piers. And I was like, look, we took money off the top. Now we need to get some of that money back to make up for what we're fixing to spend, because the whole point was taking money off the top to not do any repairs. And so the other agent was pushing back on that. I was like, no, this is how it's going to be. I know the property appraised over what it was listed at. So you've already got equity. I know you're going to remodel the whole house anyways. We will take care of the main thing, which is the foundation, which it wasn't bad. It was less than an inch in difference. I was like, that's $11,000. We're getting $11,000 back, or we're not doing this. We negotiated it. I started high. They came in low. I came in the middle. We met in the middle, got the deal done.
Yeah.
But the negotiation is important, but you have to remember there's 3 ways to evaluate a house. What I think it's worth, what an appraiser thinks it's worth, and what a buyer's willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
So there's only so much negotiating you can do. It's how do you get creative with that negotiations to make sure that the buyer is getting what they want in their interest rate or repairs or whatever, but the seller is netting what they want.
Yeah.
And you do that without messing with your commission.
Oh, yeah, that's another point. What have been the challenges in the past? I mean, during COVID, you couldn't not sell a house.
It was impossible to be a failure at real estate.
It was a free for all. And we had a guy that was owned a car dealership and sold cars. And I feel like it was the same with the realtors, their attitudes towards customers, and it was take it or leave it, bro. And so they skipped all the sales steps and the processes, and it was the same in real estate. When I bought a house in Lubbock, there were 13 for sale, 13 houses in a town of 300,000 people. So it's like, take it or leave it. But what have you been doing in the past, 2 years with the market being the way it is, the interest rates being high, to stay successful and keep selling houses and real estate?
Nothing. I didn't change anything. And I think that's what's kind of helped launch my career to where it's at now is, I went into the market when it wasn't that great, 2017. It was okay. It was very much like it was now. 4 to 5% wasn't unusual. You didn't see 3% interest rates. So when COVID hit, our team geared itself around a shift that was going to be negative. We thought market was going to tank. Government fabricated interest rates, got them down super low. It took off. So I just stayed the course. I kept doing what I kept following up on my calls, staying on top of my listings.
Yeah.
And so when the market shifted, it didn't change for me. This is going to be probably my best year of real estate and one of the worst years we've seen since probably 2008, 2009.
What do you attribute that to?
Hustle. I work my ass off. So one of the biggest things that I do is I make sure that I put back into my community what I take out of it. And I think I'm lucky enough to be in a small town to where I can do that. But I thought that would only be the case for Lavernia, but I don't just sell in Lavernia. Matter of fact, maybe 30 to 40% of my business is out of Lavernia. The rest of it's San Antonio and Bernie. And it's all the people that I have, met over the years that I've done business with that consistently refer me business. And then staying true to what I do and my follow-up, my consistency with my clients, not changing. When I'm mostly listings. I don't work with that many buyers. I refer most all my buyers out unless it's a specific case. But, I was running 35, 40 listings at a time during COVID, but I kept treating the agents the same way. I didn't throw a hard line at them. I didn't become an asshole and just start, I worked with them, made sure it was a win-win for both sides. I would even argue that a lot of my listings, I didn't go 17 to 20 offers on like a lot of these houses were. We priced a little higher, knowing that the market was really good. We tried not to take advantage of people because that's karma. You get what you put back into it.
Right now in my life, I'm looking for, the way my brain is wired, I need a championship to win. I need a trophy to pursue. I need an aiming point. I need, hey, we're going to build it and exit. I'm looking for cash flow, right vehicles, big table moves, enjoy what I'm doing, but I am looking for a score. You got to think, because I've been grinding out for a long time, okay? And I've made a lot of good money in my life. I got great deals and houses and planes and whatever else. But at the end of the day, I'm looking for a big score. One big league, 25 million, 30 million, something that goes, now, what will I do if I have that score? It's like, I don't know. I don't know. Will I go to the house in Florida and relax? Will I change anything? Obviously my wife doesn't think I'll change anything, no matter where I am.
Well, that's why I asked that question yesterday to Shane Reeves.
Yeah.
Because he got a pile of money,
Yeah.
and then he dug back in.
And then he put it all into the next thing.
I can assure you,
Yeah.
you will do the same thing.
Yeah.
And your wife is going to say,
Yeah.
honey,
Yeah.
honey, hold on. And you're going
Yeah, it's
to.
like she told me once, do you know how to be happy? Why can't you be happy about anything? and why can't you enjoy what we have? And it's like, maybe I don't even know how. That's my mother, right? She didn't even know how to sit still. She didn't, right? She's kind of like Martha in the Bible. And Mary's saying, calm down. Jesus is here. And Martha's running around in the house doing things. And it's kind of like with me, it's like, I don't even know really how to relax. I don't, it's not, now, is that good? Is it bad? But I do take time off. A lot of people think I work. And listen, there was a time I worked 7 days a week. There was a time I'm a creative. But by the time I get to Friday, and I've coached a lot of people, I'm ready for a break. I'm ready to be Michael Burt. I'm ready to take the coach hat off. I'm ready to be a dad. I'm ready to play with my kids. I'm ready to just do something, whatever that is, whatever I want to do, with no schedule, nobody telling me I got to be anywhere, nothing I got to do the next day. I do enjoy that.
That was a question that I have for the entrepreneurs is what do they do to relax, and do they take vacation?
It's different.
But you're a firecracker, but I love it because it helps me.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of people that have more energy and drive.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot, but they're hard to find.
Yeah.
Than I do. And so it just lights the spark underneath me. So why do you think that your coaching works for anyone from a small landscape business or a mom and pop shop up to a Fortune 500 company?
When I first started coaching businesses, I would be coaching a $2 billion bank. I'd be coaching an insurance agency. I spent 4 years in the prison system rehabilitating maximum security offenders. I'd coach a heating and cooling company. Then I'd be in a room with, white collar people. And what I noticed is all of them had the same problems. All of them.
Did you ever get imposter syndrome doing this?
No, because I knew I was a hell of a coach. Okay, so there may be people who've made more money than me, but there's still a specialization that I have.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is engineering people, the activation of prey drive, competitive intelligence. Packaging is one gift that somewhere along the way I picked up.
Man, while I was doing my questions, there is nobody better at packaging and naming a concert or a concept than you.
Yeah.
You're just good
and I don't
at
know where
talent.
that's just a knack that, it's like Tim Story said to me one day. He said, man, there's nobody at X's and O's better than Bert.
That's the truth.
And it's like, I think it comes from sports. Everything was drawn up, plays. Then it comes from mental mapping. Then it comes from studying under Covey. Covey was a master at packaging ideas into visuals and books and things. And I think just through osmosis of me being around these great, Dan Sullivan is a master of packaging ideas. And these are people I've been coached by. And so it's like, I love packaging a concept. And then I tell people, you're sitting in an $8 million concept, okay? But there's been $200 or $300 million generated here in a year. But it all started as just a simple concept, man. I'm going to build a greatness factory. What are we going to do there? Manufacture greatness. Who's going to come there? People who want to get better. Started just on a piece of paper. And now we're sitting in it.
And how do you lose fucking 40 pounds in 50 pounds in 4 months?
By someone who's already done it.
Yeah.
And I love his program. It's called Six Pack CEO. So he does a huge study. Men over 40, our goal is to have a six pack at 10% body fat.
That'd be nice. I almost did it 40, but
And he said that the population is 0.01. These successful entrepreneurs, they know how to run a business, but they get lazy on the backside of eating, and we're taking care of their body and mind. And when they get their body and mind in shape, they can scale that much faster.
I wouldn't doubt it. What does the past 4 months look like for you on your workout program? If there's a fatty like me out there that wants to lose weight, what's it look like?
10,000 steps a day, mandatory.
Which means, are you going to run? Or are you walking?
I mix it up both. A lot of times I go just knock it out on the tread. 10,000 steps is about 4 miles of walking. I do it at burn 2, so you don't burn any muscle. It keeps that heart rate at a little bit advanced. Counting your macros, what you put in your mouth, and also sobriety. I'm also 6 years sober from alcohol.
Yeah.
And I know you're sober too, right?
I mean, I call it Sober October, but it's been 6 or 7 years.
There you go. That's badass, man. Yeah.
So, and I make fun of people when someone tells me they don't drink and we're out somewhere, like, are you going to get a beer? Are we going to get a beer? And they look at me like, you fucking dickhead. And then I say, well, I don't drink either. Like, you asshole.
Well, you know what I love doing? When someone asks me if I want a beer, got these sleeves, and I said, I don't want to go back to I'm on parole, dog. I mess with people.
Yeah.
They're drunk. They're buzzed.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, no, I can't. I'm on parole. And their mouths drop.
Oh, yeah.
I just love messing with people, man.
I don't. I think we talked about this last podcast a little bit on not drinking, and I don't give a shit if people drink. I was with a lawyer yesterday that loves wine connoisseur. Like, but I feel like people that when you're drinking, the people that don't, I feel like they're looking at you like, oh, you're better than them or something, and I don't give a shit either way.
I don't either. It's a personal choice.
I can tell you that after you have 3 or 4 drinks, I'm probably not going to be in your conversation because I just walk away. But what has it done for you mentally?
The clarity, man. I'm able to make great decisions, especially being on the road in the Sprinter. Man, I didn't want to make a wrong choice or turn on a mountain road and fall off the side of the mountain. So I didn't even want that alcohol in my system.
How did you stop?
75 Hard made me realize that I could go out socially and drink. I never had a problem, but I always thought I'd go to a lot of concerts, saw Co-Wetzel, Parker McCollum. I've listened to your stuff. I know you've had them at your old bar.
Yeah.
And I always thought I had to have a drink in my hand just to look normal.
Yeah.
Dude, I can have a water in my hand now.
That's what I tell people that are stopping drinking or ready to quit. I say, look, dude, go get you a water with a lemon, something with lemon, have it in your hand, and then it's the same shit.
Or just get a sparkling water, get a tahini rim, and put a lime on it. No one's going to know that you're not drinking vodka and water.
And I think maybe at the beginning of you not drinking, you worry that people think, oh, you're not drinking, but nobody gives a shit. No. And there are the people that just keep firing off. Are you going to get a shot? Are you going to get a shot? And man, it's like, whatever, dude.
Yeah, the peer pressure is real. And I get it, but we're strong enough now that we've overcome it, and I don't need it in my life.
I don't even think about it.
I don't either.
So my very first attempt at cultural cuisine, I was actually walking from my office to a strip center to have Mexican food. Mm-hmm. And I walked right past a place called the Olati African Cafe. And I've always wondered, well, what do African people eat? I wonder what that's like. Mm-hmm. So instead of walking into my normal Mexican food joint, I walked into an African cafe, and that changed it because I was a lost puppy. I was a fish out of water. They weren't very helpful the first time I went there. I didn't know what to order. The food was strange to me. And so I ordered the safest thing that looked like, for me, possible. And then when I walked out, but there was a lot of people in the restaurant, and they were enjoying their food. And I just thought mine was just terrible. So instead of criticizing, I was out of my element. I was in their world. I was in an African, Nigerian, West African restaurant, and I decided not to be critical when I'm the one out of place.
Yeah.
So I just simply walked out, and I said, this wasn't for me.
Yes.
So then that video went viral. It got, I don't know, 1.5 million, 2 million views or something. and I always read every comment. And I was reading the comments, and they say, we love that. Do not over criticize. For me, not for me. And that's when it took off.
Yeah, well, I love it because it seems like obviously food influencers, and this is from my perspective as the restaurant tour, but food influencers have a platform for their content, and that content can be damaging to restaurants or it could be beneficial. And in your journey with what you're doing right now, it's neutral. And it is a beautiful thing to see, because I think you and I had this discussion, and it always comes down to, with us, I go from the bottom of Texas to the top, and sometimes into New Mexico. Where is the best Mexican food? And what I've determined is the best Mexican food is typically what you know and what you grew up with. Because the New Mexicans, with their green sauce, their red salsa, the way that they do things, they think that their Mexican food is the best that you can have. So a food influencer goes in there and says, oh, I don't like this, this, and this. Well, then somebody's not going to try it because of that person's opinion. So your neutral opinion on it's for me or not is I love it.
Yeah, cultural cuisine, well, and even American cuisine is very regional. So, you get what they eat in the region. And I didn't know when I walked into the African place, I had no clue that Africa has 54 different countries.
Oh, yeah.
And they all have their own food.
Yeah. How has your dining experience or habits changed in the past year since you started filming what you're eating?
The first 6 months, it was really, I was doing a series on sports bars with good food.
I remember.
Local stuff, pizza, Cajun food in Louisiana. And I did not grow up in a world of diversity. Mm-hmm. So I grew up on that, that kind of food. And when I walked into the African place, it really changed my life. And I've been trying food from all over the world in Texas and Louisiana. And it's just been like a light switch going on and off.
Are you finding cuisines on your journey that you are really, really liking and going, man, I need to go back to this place and try more? Are you getting to your new your local watering hole, so to say, that you keep going back there because you found something? And what would it be?
Well, I've gone to so many that I can't just say there are some cuisines that I do go back to. I like Indian food. I like Thai food. Nepali food is really good. But they're all so different. You can't compare them because they're just so drastically different.
Different parts of the world.
Yeah. Colombian food. And I don't have one cuisine that I just keep going back to.
Mexican food.
Yeah. That's the old days too, but I still do Mexican food.
So when you want to go to lunch in Houston, you're based out of Houston during the week. When you want to go to lunch in Houston, what are you looking at on your phone?
It all depends on if it's a day I want to go try and film a restaurant for lunch during lunch, or if I want to just go to one of my old basics and just enjoy my lunch. And, you know, I try to pick places that are close to the office or whatever. But I will go on a mission to search out a cuisine for lunch just to try something different and film it. And then I'm also free at night. I stay in an RV at night in Houston by myself, so I have time to go anywhere I want to, Tommy, and try anything I want. And I'm in a melting pot in Houston.
I love it.
Thanks for watching Business Under Fire. We'd love it if you would share, like, and subscribe. See you next time.